I'm a TV writer, and the TikTok drama that I'm most obsessed with right now is the woman who, on a whim, decided to chop off all her hair, and now her husband will not speak to her unless she's wearing a wig. Let's get into it. So the creator's name is Mary, and she's in her late 20s. She's a mom of 3. She is married, and at the end of August, she basically just started posting in real time video diaries of her decision to chop off all her hair. And seeing it all unfold in real time makes it really sort of like a character study. And I think this is a really fascinating character. So that's why I want to talk about her. So obviously I think part of the reason that I connected to this story is because I am a woman with short hair. I cut my hair when I was 33. And we all know the quote, "A woman who changes her hair is about to change her life." So I think that it's just a really interesting starting point for a journey that's familiar to a lot of us. So like I said, her name is Mary, and she's in her late 20s. She's a mom of 3. She's married. And just for a little context, she is one of 8 siblings. She was raised super Catholic. She's a classically trained pianist and was a music director for years. And she was also a successful corporate accountant before deciding to become a stay-at-home mom when she gave birth to their 3rd child. So basically this woman goes from having a really intense career to being a stay-at-home mom and finds herself losing her sense of identity. So even though her husband has gotten a new job and is making a lot of money, she is not feeling fulfilled because she's not really making any decisions and she's not working. So now for context, I do think it's worth noting that Mary had been medicated for about 15 years, I think she said. She was on Lexapro, and she also has a history of SA in her younger years. So one day in late August, she decides she wants to chop off all her hair. She decides she's not going to tell her husband, and she just goes to the salon and has the stylist buzz her head. And she loves it. She's super happy with it. She feels free. And she has this realization that this is basically the first decision she's ever made in her life without asking someone else's opinion first. She's struggled to feel like her body is her own since her SA incident. And so she basically feels like cutting all her hair off is going to force her to finally appreciate her face, which she's never really liked. So she feels like maybe she'll be able to focus more on her personality. And she says, frankly, she's tired of being nice all the time and feels like having kind of a badass haircut will force her to stand up for herself more. So again, the hair is a big change for her, but she does it and she's really happy with it. And then she posts a video saying that she has no idea how her husband's going to react. So he gets home and he hates it. He hates it. He tells her that he literally feels like she has cheated on him. He also says that he's worried about her mental health because he thinks that her cutting her hair is a sign that she is going off the deep end. That night before bed, she says, "I love you" to him. He doesn't say it back. He sleeps on the couch. And for the next several days, he literally does not speak to her. So she goes out and she buys 2 wigs. She starts wearing the wigs around the house and he starts talking to her again. And so he will not speak to her or interact with her or look at her unless she's wearing either a wig or a bonnet. And she says if the bonnet slips back, like revealing her hairline, he will come adjust it, pull it forward and say, "You have to appease me." So now this woman is literally living a double life inside of her own home. She wears her buzz cut when he's not home and feels like a confident person. And then whenever he's around, she's either wearing a bonnet or a wig. And he is cracking little side jokes about how she's a lesbian now. But what's crazy is that you can actually see the difference between her 2 personalities, kind of, in the videos, because in some of the videos she's wearing the wig and in some of the videos, most of the videos, she's not. And it's kind of like watching 2 completely different people. So obviously she's horrified because her husband, she says, is repulsed. That is the word that she used. But she's also kind of confused because she says he never really remarked on her appearance at all. So she did not think that he was particularly invested in the way that she looked. She says she can count on one hand the number of times that he has told her she's beautiful. And so she says, she didn't think that he was going to love the haircut, but she also hoped that he would see the change in her demeanor and how happy she was and grow to like it out of support for her. And so it's just really interesting because over the course of these videos, we are literally watching this character development unfold, essentially. So for instance, she says, "I don't love a beard, but 3 to 4 times a year, he will wear a beard for a couple months, and he doesn't tell her when he's going to grow it, and he also doesn't tell her when he's going to shave it. And she loves him with or without the beard because they're married, and that's what married people do, is love each other despite slight changes to their appearance. And so she's sort of realizing, wait, what if his love is conditional? I really appreciate this story because unlike the dog food lunchbox teacher lady, Mary is actually interested in investigating her own life and experience, and she is going through this metamorphosis with us along for the ride. So it's like she's realizing in talking through these videos and sort of externally processing, as she calls it, that she has a lot of insecurities and that she has always felt like her value was tied up in her ability to appeal to men, and that she would be treated better if she looked the way that men wanted her to. And then, you know, she's kind of having this realization about the male gaze. So she's literally processing over the course of these video diaries, kind of, that she probably cut her hair as a way of severing her obsession with appealing to the male gaze. But then we're also at the same time getting these videos interspersed of her wearing the wig or wearing the bonnet, and understanding that, you know, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But she's so incredibly honest about herself, and she's not afraid to be self-aware, even though that's not the way she's necessarily always been. And it's just really powerful, I think, to watch someone kind of find their voice with a series of TikTok videos. And you can see her transformation from this sort of meek woman to someone who's more confident. And, you know, the change, like I said, in her demeanor is just so apparent. Oh, and just one other side detail. Her husband ends up saying that the reason that he can't look at her without the wig is because she looks too much like her little brother. And based on Mary's accent, I do kind of get the sense that this is taking place in like maybe the South, in a more conservative area. And so I just think that it's really interesting that it kind of, you know, the husband's whole issue kind of boils down to something that's so obviously homophobic. And by the way, Mary shared a picture of her brother, and they really don't look that much alike. So obviously in my mind, I'm like, well, you know, the husband has a thing for the brother, and, you know, it's awkward. But maybe that's just my TV writer brain. But yeah, this is a really fascinating story. And Mary, if you see this, you look absolutely incredible. Like, truly, you are beautiful, and your face is beautiful, and your nose is beautiful, and your hair is beautiful, and really, truly, keep going. Your energy is incredible, and I think that this is a really inspiring story. So thank you, truly thank you for sharing it with us.